Hey, Bubba, how are you? I made it. I don't know how I made it on time, but I made it. I drove from downtown Chattanooga to over here in Ringo, or down south of Ringo, and got here online in an hour. So, sure how I did it, but I did it. Oh, God. I'm tired. And I just want to run away and hide under a blanket. Well, I got something to drink, but that's all I got. Oh, I did eat some Tums. Hey, Vincey Lou Who, how are you, darling? Oh, crap, I gotta find some music, don't I? Let us see. Nathan, what kind of music do you want for background tonight? Hell's bells. Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, there's the exit. Hi, Reese. What you doing, Bubba? What's my Reese doing? Hey, Reese, are you being good? Are you being a good boy for Aunt V? Are you being a good boy for Aunt V? Nathan, I don't know why I bothered to ask. Hey, is it Tara? How are you? I'm gonna get some special stuff together for little Reese and Mila and even Big Brother. How about some blues? Nathan, you like blues? I need to do that. I can do some Fats Domino, but doing some whiskey blues because it's usually a good one. Stevie Ray Vaughan, I can do all that. Where's the rest of the crew at? I just got off the phone with Nina. Nathan, should I start with the prologue or start with chapter 1? Or should I start back when you got a message from the author? Thank you, Vincey. Hey, bitch. What's What's going on there? Chat's broke. I've not read. I read the message from the author to Nina yesterday. Miss you, bitch. Maybe that's where everybody else is at, trying to get through. Oh, I was laughing my ass off. I'm talking to you. When everybody else gets on here, I'll show you what I did. There's a reason I'm wearing a hat. Nina's not here. Just about, Nathan, just about. So, I'll go ahead and tell you. So, the girl that cuts my hair is out on maternity leave. And I cut my hair a zillion times, okay? Hey, Miss Billy Dawn, how are you, darling? And so I got tired of it being long and shaggy. And I was going to trim it around the sides and then do something with the top. Well, you know my daddy's in the hospital. I was very antsy yesterday. Shouldn't have done this, but I was very antsy yesterday. Decided at lunchtime I was going to cut my hair. And I put the number 3 guard on because I usually do number 2 on the sides. And I was going to do a number 3 just so I didn't get too crazy. Well, I went up through here and I gapped it right there. That's too high to be gapping. So I had to go through, and this is still longer here than it is there. You can't really tell. But yeah, I gapped it. Nathan. So, yeah. Yeah. I'm going around with a hat on now, which I have shaved my head before. I have shaved my head before. That's not that unusual. But, yeah. He calls me skinhead. He don't care. So, when I get off from here tonight, in our girls' chat, I'm going to send some colors over to that. Since I've got it this short, I've been kind of wanting to do something different with the color. So I'm going to send some colors and see what you guys think. Because, I mean, you see where I'm at now? See, this is the dark natural. This is the white natural. And this the pink. So this is not all turned. It's not all white yet. So see, that's all dark natural. That's all white natural. So we'll see what we can do. Yes, ma'am, I need a new release. So I'll send you guys some colors and see what you think. All right, let's start with the prologue. Since the author is absolutely no help whatsoever. And let's see what I can do. Let me get it moved over here, though, so I can see. I got contacts in, so I've got my readers on tonight. In the 𝘕𝑚𝑚𝑚 Existence Memory Series, Rise of 𝗿𝗪𝓯, Lauren found herself standing in a beautiful field of wildflowers. Oh, that sounds like heaven. Until the allergies kick in. A small pond was just in sight with what she took to be several unicorns and several winged horses. Those would be called Pegasuses. The sight was nearly breathtaking. Then suddenly, two other women that looked like they were the same age as she was appeared, along with two men that looked the same age as well. They all looked familiar to her. Then an older woman arrived, who looked to be in her early 30s. A young woman knelt. Gaia, how can 𝗟𝘃𝗃𝑔𝑒 serve you? Here we go. You guys argue with him. Ori, get your leash out with your whip. Your boy's already at it. And you guys know when it comes to the names, I'm already screwed up. So, Gaia, how can 𝗟𝘃𝗃𝑔𝑒 serve you? Gaia, Chadwick said, where are we? Lauren found herself wondering how she knew their names. Defenders, Gaia started. You do not know that you are defenders because this is an unofficial favor I ask of you. Speak your request and we shall see it done, Raven said as she continued to kneel. Gaia walked over. Rise, Queen of 𝗟𝘃𝗃𝑔𝑒. She looked at the others. Some things I cannot say because it will be extremely confusing. If this was a book, it would be called 𝘕𝑚𝑚 Existence Memory Series, Book 2, Rise of 𝗿𝗪𝓯. No. I'll make up my own names. Thank you. 𝗿𝗪𝓯? Okay. Then why didn't you put the dashes in there? I can see how it's spelled, but that's not how it says. 𝗿𝗪𝓯 or 𝗿𝗪𝓯. Is it tear like you cry or tear like you're tearing paper? They're both spelled the same way. 𝗿𝗪𝓯. Book 1 will likely never be written because it is my untold memories. She paused and looked down and tears came to her eyes. See? Tears. 𝗿𝗪𝓯. See? I will not hide the truth. Today is a very sad day. For you to understand the present, you must first know the past. Guardians protect the elements. Protectors protect the guardians. Defenders defend life, all life. The elements choose the guardians. The guardians choose the protectors. These protectors are the same being as the guardians. That way, if the guardian falls, the protectors rise to guardians. I feel like I need a whiteboard here and write all this out with a line and an arrow. You know, kind of like guardians to protectors to defenders, you know, kind of like that. Does that make sense? That's kind of how I feel. See, this is the kind of shit I want to say with every author that comes on here, but I can't. But when Nathan comes on here, yes, you, thank you. I can speak my mind. He knows I love him. And I'm just giving him a hard time. The guardians choose the protectors. These protectors are the same being as the guardians. That way, if the guardian falls, the protectors rise to guardians. A war took place, and being called 𝘠𝑪𝑐𝑡𝑒 destroyed nearly everything. 𝘠𝑪𝑐𝑡𝑒, is that racist? Is 𝘠𝑪𝑐𝑡𝑒 supposed to be racist? Just checking. It's really not, y'all, okay? I'm just being funny. Don't send any nasty messages to me or Nathan. I'm just being funny. And being called 𝘠𝑪𝑐𝑡𝑒 destroyed nearly everything. The beings that did survive fled this existence. When they returned, they fought the 𝘠𝑪𝑐𝑡𝑒 and a new existence came into being. An existence is like a tree. Life dwells in the trunk. It branches out, and those branches are called unmentionables. Those branches are called unmentionables. Inmentions? Is that what it is? Inmentions? Not even some immortal gods can do that. Guardians, protectors, and defenders are among the few that have that power. Whatever happened in the war between 𝗕𝑚𝑎𝑙𝑖te and the guardians in the existence of 𝗕𝑚𝑎𝑙𝑖te was brutal to conquer death. Death had to use messengers of death. The guardian of 𝘠𝑪𝑐𝑡𝑒 was chosen because he had killed so many that the tears of the ones he killed caused an actual ocean of tears. They are so dangerous that not even 𝗕𝑚𝑎𝑙𝑖te would allow them to wake. The only ones that can truly wake and control them are those that are known as virtues. Did you have to do a whiteboard to keep all this straight, Bubba? During this war, many inventions were destroyed to save the tree of life. The inventions were separated. When 𝗕𝑚𝑎𝑙𝑖te returned from a different existence, she returned with 4 guardians: fire, water, land, and air. They did not fight alone. They had human-like beings with them that they called the Cursed. The Cursed held very powerful magic, a magic that many wouldn't believe. It was in their dancing. When the war was over and the dancers went back to the existence of the Cursed, the magical weapon known as Pandora's box was left in this invention. I will not say who or what brought this to my attention, but the Cursed were punished by being of this existence. The guardians slept, but the protectors fought on the behalf of the Cursed. A dancer made its way here and opened the box of Pandora. That was how we became a memory we have not lived, yet we are part of a dream realm. Inventions have dimensions and realms. Dimension hold actual life and beings. Realms are more like a ghost or spirit. Book 1 in what is called the 𝗕𝑚𝑎𝑙𝑖te Existence Memory Series will never be in this existence. 𝑧𝘢𝘐 was the strongest guardian and the oldest. When the trunk began on this new tree, 𝘠𝑃𝑡𝑒 was the first realm to form. The others are well on their way. 𝘠𝑃𝑡𝑒 is close to becoming a dimension. The dancers are working behind the scenes. 𝘠𝑃𝑡𝑒 does everything it can to destroy this existence of memories. The ones we call guardians fight, but like the living, they do not fight alone. Many books within the existence of the Cursed are being erased. Books being erased? Bridget said with a confused voice. What does books being erased have to do with all of this? Gaia sighed with a slight nod. That is a good question, one that I cannot fully explain. I can, however, give you a very brief explanation. There is a library called the Chronicles of the Living Library of Creation. The very first book is called Dunkar. It means creation. In this existence, it records the memory of how life began for us. In the invention of the living and the tree we came from, it holds the memory of how they restored life. The book Dunkar was taken by the Watcher. The Watcher is the one who records events that took place in the existence and the existence of the cursed. That is all I can say about that. Gaia paused for a minute. In the existence of the cursed, a new book came from Dunkar. This book was called the Book of Dunkar. Much like the book Dunkar, it records life. But instead of the book recording all books within it, the books separate into different books. The Book of Dunkar was destroyed. When that happened, the Watcher was released and it started erasing all the other books. The dancers had no choice but to flee that existence because they had no afterlife and were fading into nothing, and were not even converted into life's energy. They face the same problem here. The only difference here is they have a chance to leave a marker and not be totally forgotten. Pandora's box was destroyed here in this existence. So why not just go kill the Watcher or take his eraser away from him? I told my people 𝗕𝘂𝘢𝘁 would be the death of us all, but they wouldn't listen, a man said. Who are you? Conrad said, as he looked at the tall, well-built, muscular man. Be mindful of what you say, Gaia warned. I know not to bite the hand that feeds me, he said with great respect in his voice. I am Dunkar. My mother named me after the book of the one who she said thought saved her and me. This realm is one of many that has activity going on. A realm that was converted into life's energy, managed to make it to the invention that is connected to the living tree. That book of Dunkar was brought to this invention, and I came from that book. Unless I am returned to the existence of the dancers, they will completely fade. At present, they mostly live within the dream realms. They are fading rapidly within the realm of the living. I can manipulate the books and create a secret series, if you will. From there, we can survive the conversions. Without me, and without the book called the Book of Dunkar, they will fade and never live again. Not in any realm or any dimension. He looked at Gaia. Does any within the reached existence have a sense of honor? Do they not have compassion for those that saved them and gave them life twice? She looked at him. I need each of you to call upon the element within without summoning the guardians or protectors. The 5 elements of life: magic, wind, fire, water, and land. You want me to call water? Lauren said with a confused voice. I wouldn't even know how to begin to do that. Gaia looked to Raven. I need you to be the conduit that summons the elements and control the energy to open the portal. The portal must be made of water because 𝘠𝑪𝑡𝑒𝑟𝑎 is the strongest at present. Lauren, you must take Kim and this blank page too. She was interrupted. She isn't powerful enough, and the current of the water will need something to drive it. You will need the wind to accomplish that. Gaia raised her hand and covered her mouth as her voice brought the sound of shock that was the look upon her face. How did you discover that? She walked over and placed her hand on Gaia's shoulder. Do you honestly think... Did I read that wrong? Do you honestly think the virtue of the wind can do anything without the... Hold on, I'm looking to see. Okay. Do you honestly think that the virtue of the wind can do anything without the wind knowing it? Do you think the 5 virtues are not watched or protected beyond measure? She looked at the others. If the true guardians learn of this, they will destroy you. As protector, I have a higher authority, and I can conceal your actions a lot better than any of you. She addressed Gaia. Also, if I should perish, another will take my place without any knowing it. We both know that will likely be a one-way trip. That was when a small boy appeared and touched Dunkar. Time to go, he said, and they vanished. Cray, Nathan. Your brain scares me a little bit. Chapter 1. Dance of Unexpected Change. Book 5 and Dancer's Curse of Love. Book 5. If anybody needs a really super duper good laugh, read the note from the author. I read it to Nina, Vinci, and Karen or Liberty. You both need to read it. You'll be mentioned in there. All right. Chapter 1. Dunkar stood in what was once known as his private library, hidden in the outer realm city that was once called Radis. He set the book back on the shelf as he gazed upon the table that sat in the center of the reading area. 4 doors led to the small area. One was behind him, one in front, and one to either side of the room. They walked from the doors nearly at the same time. 𝗀𝓐𝓐, his most worthy adversary. 𝗀𝓐𝓐. Where the... Do I need to just jump ahead and read that? Okay, no, I'm not jumping ahead. 𝗀𝓐𝓐. His most worthy adversary stood just over 6 foot tall. His muscular frame always made him on the battlefield easy. Finding him on the battlefield easy. My birds are going crazy out here. I was looking to see if Hedwig was out here. No, we're not going there. I ain't got a 10-inch tongue. I ain't going. His muscular frame always made finding him on the battlefield easy. His light brown hair and green eyes added to his frame. Prominent cheekbones and a strong chin made him easy to behold with his eyes. To his left was a very beautiful woman, long curly blonde hair and sky blue eyes. Her breast stuck out firmly. Do you say breast in real life? I don't know why people don't just write like they talk sometimes. Well, no, Nathan, do not do that. God forbid. I've tried to. No. Bitch, slap me because I know you've seen his shit before it gets edited. Slap me for saying that because we both know he don't need to be doing that. Her breast stuck out firmly and she had a thin waistline. Selim had the looks of a goddess and was just as dangerous as one. Then to the right was a tall, athletic man with brown hair and brown eyes that enhanced his round face. Beside him was a woman that looked identical to the woman across from them. Aram and Yola were a sight to behold together, each pausing to take in the sights of the room and each other. If this was under normal circumstances, the odds were they would break out fighting each other, not allowing anyone to kill anyone because they would want that honor for themselves before it could get out of hand and come to blows, which was likely to happen anyway. I love you, bitch. Don't you guys just love it when Nathan comes on here? I'll be doing good to get through chapter 1. Dunkar used the distraction to the greater good. Knowing the history of those in the room, I'm going to my man voice. I know I didn't use it on the other, but we're going there now. Knowing the history of those in this room, one would be either incredibly stupid or desperate to bring us all together in the same place. Your pride and insults would call me stupid, but your heads know better. To add to the insults that would come my way, all of you know my arrogance is above me lying. True, at one time, I did think I was above reproach. I wouldn't be unfair by saying the same can be said for each of you. You don't learn by running your mouth. The need for all of us to counsel is indeed dire. We don't have very long, so let's forego the unpleasantries. Skip the pleasantries and get to the point. Sit down, keep your mouth shut, and I will explain what is going on. If you can't do that, then walk past me to the corridor that will lead you to Radis. You all know the way from there to anywhere you wish to go. But I warn you, don't expect to enjoy this newly revised life. It will be short-lived, and there will be no coming back, not even by rebirth. Swallow it at liberty. Just imagine where you'd be today if you had swallowed it instead. There's a cable van across the street at the daycare. I wonder if it's cable guy or if it's the FBI. I was under the impression you didn't want us making threats like that from your little speech, Twom said casually as he was looking around assessing the situation. Dunkar sat down in a chair, placed his hands together, and rested his arms on the table. Like he's praying, like that, like that. If my words reflected or proposed that it would be by my hands, then I offer my most humble apologies. This caused everyone to look at each other and back at him. There was no sarcasm at all in his voice or tone. He was being honest. I only spoke the truth. Like I said, no one in their right minds would purposely put us in the same room unless it was dire. As you can see, I am unarmed. And the wards are placed to prevent. And here comes the thing. Fill your needs up without and still swallow it. Like I said, no one in their right minds would purposely put us in the same room unless it was dire. As you can see, I am unarmed, and the wards are placed to prevent magic use at all, including mine. They each walked to the table, taking a seat and moving chairs so they wouldn't be close to each other, apart from Yola and Aram. Do get to the point fast, Dunkar, Selim said in a slightly agitated tone before anyone else could say anything. The point is, we have a lot to discuss, but not much time, and the end is coming for all the dancers. If we don't work together, that is our fate. We'll stand a much better chance of surviving, so we can continue to hate each other if we work together. This is not something that will be over in 5 minutes of explaining. Again, they each looked at each other and then back at Dunkar. Very well. Start at the beginning, Aram said. Dunkar knew very well curiosity was the only reason that they weren't walking out. He couldn't dance around the truth, as there wasn't a lot of time. You are all familiar with the library and the books within it. I didn't write these books. They all came from one book, the Book of Dunkar. The Book of Dunkar came from a book called Dunkar. He reached over and grabbed a book that he had sitting on the table. He opened it and started reading aloud. She was on her knees, holding the hand of her only child. He paused. We all know the son was not her only child. He started reading again. Her body was soaked in blood. She shook as the sobs tore from her chest. From behind, they walked up to her, looking around at the bodies that were decimated. Heads, arms, and legs were severed from bodies. Others were lying with deadly gashes and chunks missing. Men and women, young and old, lay on the ground that was saturated with blood. She felt the presence of her father's power as they approached, but she didn't take her gaze from her son. She knew the three fates: what is, what could be, what should be, walked with destiny. They smiled as they looked upon her, but only because her back was to them. If she had been facing them, they would dare not let her see them smile. Destiny said in a tone that did not match the look on her face, "This is so sad, killed by his own father. You came here and he joined with you just so he could have a daughter. But when you had a son, he knew his plans would have to wait. But he made a mistake thinking he was more powerful than you." The fates spoke in unison, their voices wispy. We can make this right. We hold the Book of Dunkar. Only he can read it, but you can change the writing in the book. Her eyes shifted to her side at the sword lying beside her, the blood of the slain covering the blade. You cannot restore me, she wept. No one can. Destiny stopped smiling. That is true. We cannot, but we can change the reason you fell, she said. Your virtue can and will be restored. No one will know what was done, and your child will live. She placed her hand on the sword and slowly rose to her feet. The fates stopped smiling. She said on her way up, "Do you know what Dunkar means in the origin of where the book came from?" The fate, what is, said no. They looked at her nervously as she turned, for she was more powerful than the four of them combined. It means in your tongue, creation. In this existence, life is the creator of all. In mine, my father was the creator. That book holds the power to create an existence and the power to destroy one. Before you say anything else, I should warn you. Before he took me from my family and promised to help me restore my family, I was the light of death. I took the souls and souls and spirits from bodies, turned the auras back into life's energy. She replied through clenched teeth, I know you cannot do what you say. We can and will, they said, but you will have to do something for us in return. Sad to say, you must fulfill your part first. How? She said flatly. By joining the realms with conversions, none will be able to discover this. They may guess or assume, but none will ever see. There were a few moments of silence, and she said, What I want, you do not have the power to give. The fates answered, True, we do not have the power to give you all that you seek, but some we do. Your son is part of this existence by birth. You by chance. We need not tell you how you were able to come to this existence. A conversion will allow us to take the spirit, soul, and aura and restore it to life.
We cannot promise if it will be a boy or girl, only that it will live. A short life it had, only 5 years. She looked toward her child lying on the ground and said, "What is your price for this?"
Night, brother. Be good.
Destiny raised an eyebrow at her question. First, erase Dunkar's name from the book. We know that is what makes him so powerful. Then erase any mention of what happened to you. Then travel to the realm we tell you to and destroy him. By doing that, it will bring several realms and dimensions close to this one. Return to this realm briefly, then return from where you came. The conversions will then take place. If I could erase anything in that book, my family would be alive and I would not be in this existence. True, you cannot erase what happened in your existence, but in this existence, you are the creator from whence you came. The pages written here you have power over. Do this for us, and your child shall live. Dunkar comes, you can kill him here. Destiny said, "We cannot restore your child here. You must choose quickly." She nodded and considered. "I want assurance that you will hold up your end of our agreement." The fate spoke. "We write our terms in both books, your book of Dunkar and our book of life. Then if we do not fulfill our part, it will be void and we will return to this place in time." "Agreed," she said, returning her gaze back to the fates and destiny. It was a warm summer day as she walked, enjoying the morning sun. She topped the hill, gazing upon the temple of the goddess of the dance. She smiled. 𝗕𝗫𝑐𝗎𝑒𝑒, goddess of the dance, and Morpheus, the god of dreams, stood looking at her. She brushed her long brown hair away from her green eyes. In a voice of rage, 𝗕𝗫𝑐𝗎𝑒 boomed, "How dare you decimate my temple? How dare you proclaim your beauty to be greater than mine? Most of all, I curse you with all that you did for proclaiming yourself to be a better dancer than I. As you deceived my priest with affections of love that were untrue, so shall you be cursed with a love that you will long for but never possess." The woman of 17 years dropped to her knees. "Mercy upon me, goddess. I didn't do the things you say. Please have mercy," she pleaded. From a ridge appeared another woman. The gods both looked at her. She appeared identical to the woman on her knees in every way except for her eyes, which were sky blue. The goddess of dance said with a smile, "I will confuse you all the way you just confused me. The truth will be lost." The two women trembled in fear as the gods vanished. Standing at the edge of the woods was a man. He placed the sword that was in his hand back in his sheath. As the winds of confusion started to blow, his chest glowed, and he vanished into the winds of time. Dancers of Cursed Love, Book 1. It was from out of darkness she came like a dream. To the darkness she returned, leaving the fates to battle shadows with a memory that wasn't real. Not even in her wildest dreams would she have guessed. The Book of Dunkar. Dunkar closed the book. "Before you go making comments about me reading, I assure you a great deal of information was passed on in that passage. It was the beginning of the end of my life. That is the only book that has the phrase, the Book of Dunkar. All the other books have the book Dunkar. If you read that book and the others, you would think the man holding the sword was the guardian of the wind, watching over the one cursed. I was there, and I know what took place. But you can plainly see the books protect anyone from knowing the truth. The curse isn't a curse. It is the normal way of life, the way it has always been."
"What do you mean it is the way it has always been?" Selim said.
He created all that is known and unknown, more than once, I may add. Long story short, one of his children sent a creation to this existence, not knowing that this existence had life. In another beginning, he created similar beings and creations within a new existence. But this time, he created a watcher to record what happened. The Shemalites, Yola said. I warned you that she would be the demise of our kind, Dunkar said with a hint of resentment in his voice. The watcher came to this existence and had sex with my mother, who was bleeding to death with a dead baby inside her. His seeds healed her and the baby that would become me. But he vanished. I assumed that he either died because he wasn't from this existence or returned from where he came. The uncontrollable urge, Nina, there's your sexing. The uncontrollable urge to join with my mother that didn't age another day in her life became strong when I became a man. She was my first true love. But the more of my people that were born, the weaker the desire came to be. It wasn't until my people started dying that I learned the aura, soul, and spirit were reborn to a different body. After my people were nearly wiped from existence, several times was when I discovered that the desire was to help our people stay populated. That wasn't a curse. You cursed us like that, Aram said. Dunkar shook his head. I didn't curse you. None of you had ever been among our people when we were few of numbers. All I did was plant in your subconscious minds that our numbers were few. I had no idea that it would carry over to your unborn children. Let's see. Move along, Twom said. Explain these things to the infants without my presence. Before anyone could throw an insult back that would almost guarantee a fight to break out, he said, Shemalight erased my name from the book and all my children. A feat she deemed harmless. That was when she weakened me. That was how she was able to kill me. But at my birth, the Book Dunkar started a new book, the Book of Dunkar. I agree, Billy. Dunkar, we don't need a history lesson. Get to the point, Twom said. Dunkar looked at him. Everything I'm saying is the point. By spitting out, hey, the books are being erased, and when the last one has no words, we will be no more. Dunkar held up a hand just before questions could be asked. That is why I'm doing a thorough explanation. Remember, when I said that was the only book Dunkar had, the saying, the Book of Dunkar, that was significant meaning, and I know that is how the books are being erased. The books record our lives. People think I write these things, but I do not. The magic came to me by watching it flow from others. I wasn't like any of the others of our kind. I didn't age. I could see things they couldn't naturally. The fates used storms to try and drown us. I saw the waves of energy and mocked it. When they discovered our people didn't die, they were just reborn. They made shifters. They took the spirit from a human and replaced it with an animal. Our dancers could soothe the beast, making it less temperamental. They removed the soul from a human, making a vampire. As each of you know, the soul, spirit, and aura flow through our veins. Nothing can live without a soul. So the vampire drains our blood for the traces of souls within the blood. By taking all the blood, they rob the victim of its soul. I agree with Twom. Skip the parts that we already know and go with what we don't know. Things would have been a lot better for our kind if we would have won the wars with Shemalites. Selim huffed out. Dunkar stood and walked to a bookshelf and came back with a book. Here you go. He dropped it. 𝘕𝑚𝑚 Existence, Rise of the Guardians. She lifted the book. As you will discover, a great many things are missing. The agreement that the Fates wanted us for 𝘕𝑚𝑚 to erase any evidence of my birth. They wanted the world to be as if I had never existed. They would use conversions to erase our magic and us. That is when our kind started to be reduced in the physical realm, and we came more prominently in the imaginary and dream realms. That is because no one will notice a dream fading to nothing, and an imaginary thought comes and goes. That is how our genocide is going unnoticed. 𝘕𝑚𝑚 wasn't the only of her kind to join with the people here. When a man lies with a woman, he passes his seeds to her. A trace of his aura, soul, and spirit is passed to the egg of a woman. Part of the woman also joins, and it is enough for life's energy to charge the aura to bring life to the unborn. Damn. Who told Nathan how babies were made? Like, the technical medical part? As long as the bloodlines can be recorded, then the books continue. When 𝘕𝑚𝑚 left the existence, they had already defeated 𝘠𝗪𝗏 and restored her entire family. She left the pages of Dunkar that had my name in it, along with the terms of the agreement between the Fates and herself. If it would have taken all of the book, then what she had done would have been rewritten. I was taken with her because she was death. She wrote down everything that had happened in a library, and my name was mentioned. Dunkar stood and got another book. Then he came back and laid it down on the table. This explains how it came back. Twom lifted the book. 𝘕𝑚𝑚 Existence Memory Series, Book 2, Rise of 𝗤𝘪𝑒𝑒𝑒. Where is Book 1? Dunkar sighed. The world was filled with dancers in every realm. When I was taken from this existence, every bit of our beginning was erased from the Book of Dunkar. We had no beginning. Only a few remember my library they called the Library of Dunkar. But in truth, it was called the Chronicles of the Living Library of Creation. The book I read to you is the only book you will find under the saying of Dunkar that reads, the Book of Dunkar. 𝘕𝑚𝑚 erased the pages. The only other thing that can possibly erase anything in those books is the Watchers. The weaker we become, the stronger he is the Watcher. The weaker we become, the stronger he is. He isn't alone. He has Pandora and her gifts of foresight. Okay, so that got us through chapter 1. Since the man of the hour decided to leave us, I'm going to go back and give you guys a little something to laugh about. Okay? This is a word from the author. Okay? Y'all get ready. Bitch, don't be drinking anything because you're going to spit it everywhere. Vincey, don't drop Hulk if you're holding. Nina, just do what you do because you done heard all this, so you're going to do it anyway. A word from the author. Word. Seriously, that's what I just read. Should I have really put on that Mississippi accent? If you're thinking that was stupid, ha ha ha. I'll give you that, it was. But what you don't know is that it was well worth the small fortune it cost me to publish this book. I am blessed beyond words to have the team of supporters I have. Now, several of them are going to read this, and within the next 2 lines are going to burst out laughing. Notice the order he says this in. Liberty, Vincey, or Nay. Likely all 3 of them are starting to get a mischievous grin and picking up the phone. I bet the conversation is going to go just like this. Nina, have you read what dumbass ass did? Nina. Which dumbass?
Are you fucking blind? Your dumbass author. He's back with his shit.
Nina, oh Lord, what did he do now?
You didn't read the new book?
Nina, yeah? What did you think of that stupid shit he wrote?
Nina, you know, Nathan, that is all I can say. I know she will read the book. In that I have no doubt. But she looked at the cover, opened the book, and then scrolled down to about the 3rd or 4th chapter to find the sex parts. I can hear several people saying she sure did. Nay is likely laughing her ass off right now, saying bless her heart. So after 3 or 4 calls, she is now looking at this page, fuming, saying, I'm going to kill him. That fucker is dead, and I am going to kill him, bring him back to life so I can kill him again. It's okay, dear. The sex scene you are looking for is on page 1659. LOL, yeah, she didn't even bother to look at this page and is on the way to page 1659. I hope 𝗕𝓪𝓽𝓮𝓭 wasn't drinking when they read that. If you were, I'm not responsible for the destruction of your devices. See, bitch, that's why I said don't be drinking anything. You'd have to pay for your phone if you did. Or your computer, whatever be the case. Nina is looking at this with crimson eyes and if this was real time, I would be saying, hold on, I got a call. It's okay, dear. So to keep me out of trouble, I guess I better come up with something quick. Yeah, I hear that you got that shit right all the way over here. Come check out the shenanigans that go in my Facebook group. Nathan Colston Books, Home of Mayhem, Hot Messes, and Disasters with a Twist at his Facebook page. You will likely see all sorts of things on the wall where Nina is saying, oh, no, you didn't. Because that didn't get me off the hook. Truth be told, we have a lot of fun together. That is not a reflection on the book in any way. In fact, everything I just said is the actual truth of events that will take place when this is read. Or took place when this was read. Depending on when you bought the book. No, it hasn't been read by them before the release of this book. Okay, now that the fun is out of the way, the reason for the first part was me saying, why the hell not? Let's have some fun. A few things before the release caused me to stop the pre-order. Nina reached out to me after a lengthy conversation to advise me to explain the books. I said, Nina, if I went into a detailed explanation of the books, that would be a major spoiler. Well, after listening to what she said, we, as in Nina, along with 𝗕𝓪𝓽𝓮𝓭 and myself, came up with something I have never done before, a character page. Yeah, if you think I said something like, well, hell, they're in the book, you wouldn't be wrong in the least. After the ass chewing, and God help me with this one, along with things that would take me nearly a year to write, and this story would be 10 times longer than the entire collection of books, I bid you welcome to my very first character page. Here we go. All of my books are connected in one way or another. The titles are listed in the order I envision them to be read. With one little mistake, that is. I'm not going to get into full details here, but if you are interested in hearing my complete journey and seeing things from a different perspective, visit my website. And he lists the website. Now, plans are in the works for me to get my own domain, so if that link doesn't work, check out NathanColston.com. If that hasn't been taken, that is. Right now, that is only in the planning stages. Anyway, look under Other Thing Books and click on Fun-411. Feel free to wonder about the place, comment, give feedback, or whatever you feel like doing. Now, let's get into a more professional approach. I hope you're laughing with me.
As mentioned, the collection of books is all connected. Below is a description of each character, their backstory, and to reference to the books they are in. As per demanding request from Nina, do it or I'm going to kill you. She said it with love. Some characters aren't fully developed yet. Okay, so you see how big my Kindle is? It's pretty, my tablet is. It's just your average, smaller than most. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pages. 16 pages of characters. So if you ever get lost and you can't wonder what character is in what book, pour you a glass of wine, prop your feet up, and start scrolling. Here's to you, Nathan. Again, this is book 5 in the Dancer's Curse of Love, called Dance of Unexpected Change by Mr. Nathan Colston. And yes, he is crazy as a June bug. Okay? Everybody get that now? All right, ladies. I will see you here tomorrow night. We got Miss Kel Walker. Get that right? Something Walker. Something about a date. And the cover's got a boy holding a girl up. So, come back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and we'll read that one. Until then, if you need some good nighttime reading, there's a book of characters for Nathan's books. All righty, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy reading.